And Venice starts with our all-new Zen 6 core. We have higher IPC, higher frequency, and that delivers up to 1.8 times more performance than Turin. That is one of the largest generational gains. I mean, we have been doing this for 6 generations, but this is one of the largest generational gains in the history of EPYC.
Yep, so today AMD finally revealed their newest Zen architecture, Zen 6, and technically Zen 6 for Venice, the EPYC variant. Yes, this thing is a massive 256-core, 2nm monster that brings with it an impressive 1.8x uplift in performance over Zen 5 EPYC. But what about if you are a gamer? Why should you be excited? Well, here's why. AMD basically just told us overall what you should be expecting for all Zen 6 products. And for gamers, the implications truly are insane. For example, the top clocking, as of today's announcement, Venice X, so the X3D EPYC chip, hits 5.15 GHz despite having dozens of cores, and that is 23% faster than the previous top clocking X30 EPYC chip, although that was just a Zen 4 chip. So even if we assume hypothetically that there's like some clock speed increase there would have been from Zen 4 X30 to Zen 5 X30 on EPYC, even if we account for that, we can say that it's possible that Zen 6 Ryzen X3D chips will clock 18% faster than Zen 5 X3D, de facto confirming X3D chips on AM5 next year that should be well above 6 GHz despite the hundreds of megabytes of L3 cache they will have. Furthermore, as I showed at the start of this video, AMD also confirms a 30% increase in threads with Zen 5 to Zen 6 EPYC, and yet a much larger 1.8x increase in performance. So if we divide 1.8 by 1.3, we get to 38.5% roughly, an increase in performance per core that is truly monstrous. And so if you then take that though and assume Zen 6 desktop will get a 10% IPC increase, as I've leaked years ago, that gets you to about 7.2 gigahertz clock speeds. But let's go the other way. Let's assume that Zen 6 on desktop hits 7 gigahertz and divide that out from the overall single core increase. It's about a 13% increase in IPC. Again, well within what I have leaked the IPC increase is supposed to be. Now, is this me confirming that Zen 6 on desktop's gonna hit 7.2 gigahertz or higher and 13% IPC increase or higher? No, not both. In fact, I kind of directly said the opposite, that you shouldn't expect both of the best outcomes of frequency and IPC to happen at the same time. You should expect, maybe one of them to overperform, but not both. And overall, that just means a 7 gigahertz-ish clock speed for Zen 6 on desktop and a 10%-ish increase in IPC. But either way, what we saw today at AMD's Advancing AI presentation is that Zen 6 will be, as Lisa Su said, one of the largest increases in performance per core in Ryzen or EPYC or Zen in general history. And that's something to get really excited for. And not just if you're a desktop gamer. What this means for PlayStation 6, by the way, is that even if they're only going to have Zen 6C cores, that when you reverse engineer the math, that performance increase over Zen 5C, you can get up to what seems to me a 4.7 gigahertz clock for the PS6's CPU, which is still 30% faster than last gen, and then you add the 40 to 50% higher IPC of Zen 6 over Zen 2, the lower latency Zen 6 brings, and I think you're going to get to at least around a doubling of CPU performance. Now, it's on 3nm, the PS6's CPU, instead of 2nm, so we can't be sure it'll hit the maximum, but even then, I think at least a doubling of CPU performance, pie in the sky, maybe 3x, and that will make it easy for games, or at least the games that want to put effort into achieving this, to hit 120 frames per second on that console. And yeah, now I want to get to the last few things I noticed about today's AMD presentation and actually briefly touch on the Xbox to PC backwards compatibility initiative they are doing right now at Microsoft. But first, an ad from a sponsor. This piece of content is brought to you by Salad. No, not that one, this one. Salad is a computer sharing community that can help you earn back some of the money you spent on a gaming setup while it's just sitting there not gaming. Because let's be honest, no matter how much we want to game on a given weekend, you gotta admit that most of the time your expensive PC is not gaming, it's just sitting there and thus could be earning. Specifically, if you own an RTX 3060 or better graphics card, you can become a Salad power user, and with a much more powerful setup than even that, you can actually earn hundreds of dollars a month and rewards for helping the world with massive computing projects. So when you're not gaming, start up the Salad app, become a Salad chef, and cook up some cash. Your computer's hard work is rewarded with games, gift cards, gaming hardware, and other epic loot. Don't miss out on the free rewards. Remember, all you need is a 3060 or better. If you have something better, it can earn you hundreds a month. So click the link in the description to support Moore's Law is Dead for free and get started today. All right, so now let me get to the final few things that I think are worth noting from AMD's big, AI advancing thing today. And the first thing is, they talk about AI basically the whole time. I don't have really a whole lot to say about any individual numbers, except a couple of things. Number one, Lisa Su directly just starts saying, especially early in the show, she asks people to start clapping for big numbers. She's like, isn't that a big number? Didn't we have a big number? Please clap for the biggest number. And I just find that, again, a sign that we are around the peak of some bubble here. I could be wrong. I'm not suggesting it can't go on another year or something. I've said countless times that I think this could totally continue this bubble into next year and whatever. But, when you have someone not say, going on stage and saying something that's not and this is why it's better for this, or this is why this is a number we've always wanted to achieve for this reason, and they're literally just saying, isn't that number huge? Clap, everybody. It's just a race to say the biggest number, not to actually achieve anything. At least that's my takeaway there. Although she did show that they did achieve things. After going through all the BS, you actually do see her just confidently state that they will have the fastest AI accelerators, the fastest CPUs for AI servers and data center. And so I'm also even though there's a lot of crap here, there's also a lot of confidence. And there's a lot of here AMD saying, actually, we think we're the best now. We do. We're actually going toe-to-toe with NVIDIA, and they better watch out. And I have to say that without going into any specifics, behind the scenes, people seem to be suggesting that as well, that actually AMD is catching up to NVIDIA in AI, and I keep hearing about all these delays and issues at NVIDIA that maybe they bit off more than they can chew, though I certainly hear that it's stressful at AMD as well, trying to leapfrog NVIDIA. But anyways, AMD might be there. That next year might be the year that AMD is the hot AI company to talk about, at least if the bubble is continuing. Besides that, there was Anthropic buying Helios. Sure, that'll be good for their stock price. Don't have anything else to say, though. And then there's also something to point out here. It seems like AMD is de facto the first company to actually be at real 2 nanometer. And that's incredible. I just remember, 4 years ago or something, we would just talk about how Apple would always be first to do this, and then other people would get there. And you saw NVIDIA get to nodes before AMD occasionally. Not always. AMD certainly got to 7 nanometer for their desktop GPUs at NVIDIA. But it does seem like AMD is doing this thing that I've been seeing on their roadmaps, and that is, they always want to be first moving forward. They want to be first to 2 nanometer with Zen 6. They want to get to N2X with some sort of Zen 6 product before anyone else is, to anything smaller than 2 nanometer, having, first to 2 nanometer, then first to the best version of 2 nanometer. They want to get to A14 with Zen 7 right after that, and on and on and on. And speaking of, Zen 7, actually, AMD also confirmed much more about their roadmap than I expected. I get the feeling that they're tired of leakers saying their code names before they officially say them, and I'm actually surprised they haven't done this a while ago. There's no real reason to say that Zen 8 is Ravenna, or Ravenna, however you say that, before me and my team at Moore's Law is Dead put out a video about it, but I just thought that was funny. You would never see this. They'd be vague. We have Zen 7 and then Zen, next. We know it's Zen 8, but they won't say it. Just going Zen 7 Florence, Zen 8 Ravenna. It confirms some of the leaks I put out there, but it's also funny to see that, maybe the first time in 3 years AMD said a code name before I have. Just have to point that out, that it seems like finally they're over hoping they can stop the reporting Moore's Law is that is doing before they can say it publicly. And they might as well just show their roadmap early. And I hope they don't do it too early, like and become an Intel, but it is funny to see that. And all right, that's the final things that I noticed about the AMD press conference. Let us now get to the Xbox backwards compatibility thing. So I am, as you can tell, on vacation here. I'm actually in Montreal, sunny Montreal today, and it is beautiful outside. I'm actually trying to spend as little time as I need to on the stuff I need to cover today, but I just had to. I saw this last night, the Xbox on PC backwards compatibility announcement. I just knew I had to speak about it, and yeah, I think this is actually possibly a big deal. Not short term, but long term. My hunch, and I ran this past a few game developers, before I went to bed last night, and they responded to me today. They agreed with me. My hunch is that what's going on, what has been going on for a couple of years now, is Microsoft is working on trying to get some form of unified backwards compatibility for Xbox Series, Xbox One, and Xbox OG on PC, because Helix, they want Xbox Helix coming out next year to have some form of decent backwards compatibility with all of their old products. This is going to be very important, especially if they try to go all digital, to be able to say, yeah, but all of your digital games going all the way back, farther back than Sony's PS4, are still going to work on your new Helix PC. And so if you're going to go to an all-digital future, go to the future where you know your games will be protected, that you know your library will be carried over. Whether that means they do let you transfer disc to digital or not, I'm not sure. But either way, this is a good PR win for Microsoft over Sony. Well, PlayStation is dealing with probably the biggest PR crisis they've had in PlayStation history. Genuinely. I think this is worse than the PS3 reveal. I think this is worse than when their outage happened, which I'll get to the Xbox outage in a second. And I just think that that's what this is. Microsoft has been working on Helix backwards compatibility to previous Xboxes for a while now. It's not ready at all. And this week they're launching an alpha. Before they probably intended to launch it. I mean, a handful of Xbox games, who really cares? But they're doing this because it's in progress, and they know with Sony's PR nightmare going on, this is a chance for them to just have an easy layup on Sony and make Sony look even worse. And I believe that's all we should really read into this for now. I don't think that we should assume all of your past Xbox, including original Xbox games, will run on Helix. I think they'll try to get as many as they can. I still think there will be some licensing nightmares to deal with, but I think this is a good show. There's a good show of good faith towards their fans in a time where Sony is not showing any shows of good faith towards their fans. And that's what this is. It's basically a PR move until we see proof they can port more than a handful of games. But that's fine with me. The takeaway, by the way, because I know this is where PlayStation fanboys will share a clip of me and just go, see, he's saying it's just a PR move. Well, whatever, even if it is just a PR move, I wish Sony would do more good just PR moves to make Xbox, Steam Machine, all of these other devices be priced more competitively and act more competitively. Even if it's just a PR move against Sony, this Xbox on PC backwards compatibility initiative this July is still something that should give Sony a kick in the ass, and I wish Sony would do more of that in response, and I think eventually they will be forced to. But, and of course then Xbox has Xbox Live go down the day after they announce this. Sorry, everybody, but that's just another instance where I say these companies, besides Steam, who's been doing it for decades, these console companies are not ready for an all-digital future. They think they are. They are not. They have not thought things out. Their infrastructure is not ready. And it's just hilarious to see a huge PR win for Xbox right after everyone says Sony's network goes down sometimes, and then Microsoft's Xbox network goes down. They're not ready. All right, that's it. That's it for this video. I want to get back to my vacation. Please like, subscribe, share, join the Patreon. A new die shrink just came out that you can get access to at just the $2 tier. Of course, if you join, you can ask us questions as well. I think we should have Dustin from Sacred Symbols on soon, and there's a couple other people as well. So join the Patreon to show support for a channel that is a whole team of people that you will be supporting, including some people that work a little bit while they're on vacation. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and have a good weekend, everybody.